Everyone. I'm going to specifically share now how I use Edpuzzle as a student support. I'm going to work with grade 11, looking at Unit 3, Day 9. Okay. Now, this slide came from the specific lesson. It calls for students to watch a video clip and use this and the Profile Pacific Railroad document to answer the questions about progress and decline on the next slide. Now, I have students who will watch this and they will not be able to handle what they just watched. So I want to show you how Edpuzzle would help me support those students. If you don't have an Edpuzzle account already, you sign in with Google using your New York City DOE email. You click you're a teacher. And the next thing you do is you find your school. And unless obviously you're a student, let me out, right? And then once there, you can either upload your own videos. I find this very helpful when I have to teach asynchronously and I want to make sure that my students actually watched what I needed them to watch. You can pull it off of Google Drive, and I do that through Screencastify, maybe for another time. You can either upload it, search YouTube inside of Edpuzzle, or in YouTube. I got the link from the clip itself that was on the slide. And if you look, I have the Edpuzzle extension installed, Google Chrome. It's allowed by the EOE, and I clicked Edit with Edpuzzle. I did that to save time when I showed this to you. You can start to let it play. I'm looking for 18 seconds. Right when it speaks about railroad lines didn't extend all the way west, I'll let it go another second just to make sure that my students really heard it. Right there, but I still want them to see the map, so I'm going to go back a drop. And I'm going to stick in, go to the questions option. I'm going to stick in a note for my students. Now notice, I can do an audio note, which I'm going to do right now. Here we go. Yes, I allow Edpuzzle to use my microphone. We've told you that before, Edpuzzle. Okay, so here's my note to students. They said railroad lines didn't extend all the way west. Now, if you look on that map, most railroads are east of the Mississippi River. That's the eastern part of the United States. Reminder that the Mississippi River cut the United States in half. And that is our marker line, just a reminder to all students or something like that. Now, everything works for a different population. Okay, and I'm going to save it. Everything works for different population. I'm going to tell my students, listen to this note about geography. See, save it. And we can let it keep playing. See, there it is. Continue. Now, the cool part about this, and this is why I say, is because students cannot do anything else while they're watching this. They cannot open another tab. They cannot do anything until they answer the questions or listen to the notes. So I'm going to move it now to 40 seconds. And by the way, this is a free program. As long as all you have is 12 videos or you refer other teachers, and then you can increase your amount. So I'm going to let this play for a second. See, that term, transcontinental railroad. Okay, so now I'm going to do an open-ended question. Okay, if you notice, I can stick in a picture here. If you're using this, playing with this for a math program, by the way, you can use it for math too. My question is using contextualization. Your knowledge of social studies. Transcontinental railroad. Now remember, you can edit any of these questions, play with it. I'm just showing you how I would use it. Now, it just used that word hurdle. Okay, hurdle. I'm going to give a little note now. This time I'm going to do a type note, but then again, you can do a voice note too. I'm letting the clip play because I want you to experience a little what the students go through as they watch it. Now, I want to put in a multiple choice question just to show you have a few options here. Now, I'm going to check off the correct answer. So I'm going to write here, mountains. This is my kind of checking to make sure they got it. Now, you can also say, instead of mountains, you could say the Sierra Nevada. I didn't spell right. You can say tunneling. You can say Buffalo, which is a challenge on the other side. or you can say wars, right? Now, this is just a modification thing. There's 2 correct answers. You can combine Sierra Nevada and tunneling. You can leave one out. You can also tell students there are 2 correct answers, which I will do personally. My students need that. And I save. Now, the cool part is if, let's say, they click on Buffalo. I'm going to show you that. They click on Buffalo, you get feedback. That's Union Pacific. You may want to watch this again. Or rewatch is the term that Edpuzzle uses. I'll put that in. You may want to rewatch clips. So this way, just like they have a little remote, you could stick it in. And again, 2 choice, 1 choice, totally up to you. You can modify this. And by the way, you can search through Edpuzzle's library and find all sorts of wonderful things that other teachers have put together. Okay, now I have an open-ended question for Native Americans. There are different ways you can answer. You can deal with this one. The railroad didn't represent progress. I would put in this quote so they hear it in context. And what problems did Native Americans face because of railroad, of the transcontinental railroad? Construction. I'd also even put in a little hint. What got in the way of construction? I want them to connect the buffalo because it's been on the region quite a few times. And I want to make sure they picked up on it. Again, they can watch when they have it. And my last question, we still want to go higher level, obviously, even though, we're trying to appeal to all different students on different levels. We have all different types of learners in support here. Here's the golden spike. Now, I wanted them to hear that last line. And our last open-ended question, how did the Transcontinental Railroad, capitalizing it as a title, change the speed of change? Well, you can either change the speed depending on your support or change westward movement. Okay, save. Now, when you're done, you hit finish. And then you have your questions here waiting for you. Notice you can edit this, you can duplicate it, you can share it, you can make it public, okay, or private. You can see they copied my content. I can share it to assign it. The edit feature, you see, I can go around, I can move the questions around. For different classes, I would actually do different levels of support depending on what they need and how they need it. This is how I personally use Edpuzzle. Again, this is not meant to be an infomercial. This is just, our students are exposed to so much video right now, and I need to know what they understand and how they understood it. And again, I can work with this with all my different classes, how they need it, when they need it, and I hope this helps. What can I tell you? Let me know either way, and I will share the actual link to this Edpuzzle.